A great many people inside that unusually shaped five-sided building were trapped and confused by a thick cloud of blinding smoke and flame. I have walked into many a building, run into some others that have been like that when they've been fully involved in flame and fully involved in smoke, and it is a terrifying experience, and you have to set it aside in your life to go into that, and that's coming from a first responder standpoint. But imagine what it would have been like. It was a Tuesday morning, and I remember it as if it were yesterday. I was in my office in New York, in Clymer, a little after 9:30 or so, and I got a phone call from my daughter. And she said, Dad, there's something going on in Washington. I don't know what it is. They're evacuating. She was working at that time for Congressman Hoekstra. They're evacuating the building. There's something going on. I'll get back to you when I can. Talk to you later. Love, Becky. And she was gone. And I went home and flipped on NBC or CNN, one of those two. I don't remember which, but that's okay. And all of the channels were covering what was going on. Do you remember where you were that Tuesday morning? Do you remember what you were doing? Will we ever forget? What began as a typical Tuesday morning was suddenly and forever turned upside down. Suddenly, total confusion and uncertainty and panic was the order of the day. I didn't hear from Becky again until about 4:30 that afternoon. And those were a long 8 hours, wondering, what in the hoot is going on here? You couldn't find a television channel that wasn't carrying it, so you knew something was going on, and it was big. What was going on? Inside that particular situation now, we come to this little story. Washington police officer Isaac Hooper, a 25-year veteran of the Metropolitan Police Department in Washington and a former Marine, was one of the first emergency workers to arrive on site at that morning of carnage and confusion. Hooper's training kicked in immediately, and he began to respond. He grabbed his service flashlight out of the door from his police cruiser, and without so much as a second thought for his own safety, ran into the blackness, into the darkness, into the flame and smoke of the Washington Pentagon, looking for survivors. In a short time, people's voice began to be heard, and they were calling out for help, and he began to respond back as he could. He would say, over here, come to me, come to my voice, come to me, can you hear me? I was tempted to say, do you hear me now? But I'll let that go. 18 people who had lost all sense of direction and all sense of hope in that smoke-filled and wreckage-strewn hallways that were the Pentagon, heard Hooper's voice and followed that voice. And Hooper's prompting led them out of the confusion and into a moment of safety. Head towards my voice. Head towards my voice. Listen to me. Can you hear me? You know, folks, this morning, that's also the invitation of Jesus. We've sung about it, and now we're going to look at the Scriptures and listen for the Spirit of God to speak to our hearts.